The following content has been generated with artificial intelligence under minimal human supervision. The data presented may contain errors or inaccuracies. The opinions expressed in this content do not necessarily reflect the vision, position, or values of Digi-all. We recommend verifying critical information with additional sources before making decisions based on this content.
Welcome to Digi-all Tech News. Today is Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. I'm Kylie Brooks, and this is where technology becomes clear and engaging. We've got a packed show today covering everything from billion-dollar AI partnerships to global platform outages and a growing movement that's asking us to rethink our relationship with big tech. Let's dive in. OpenAI has agreed to pay Microsoft 20% of its total revenue until 2032, revealing just how deep the financial ties run between the AI powerhouse and its biggest backer. Meta is doubling down on AI infrastructure with a massive multi-year deal for millions of Nvidia chips, even as the company faces technical challenges with its own in-house processors. India has announced an ambitious plan to attract over $200 billion in AI infrastructure investment by 2028, positioning itself as a major global AI hub alongside the US and China. YouTube went down globally, affecting hundreds of thousands of users, with the culprit traced to the platform's recommendation system. And a new movement called Resist and Unsubscribe is calling on Americans to boycott major tech companies in protest of recent government immigration policies. Let's start with a fascinating glimpse into the financial engine behind OpenAI. According to a report from The Information, OpenAI has committed to paying Microsoft 20% of its total revenue until the year 2032. That's not a small change we're talking about here. What's particularly interesting is how these payments are structured. They're heavily weighted toward the later years of the agreement, which tells us something about both companies' expectations for growth and how they see the AI market evolving over the next several years. This arrangement really highlights the depth of the partnership between these two tech giants. Microsoft isn't just an investor in OpenAI. They're deeply woven into the company's financial fabric. And for Microsoft, this represents a significant revenue stream tied directly to the success of generative AI. It's a relationship that's been crucial for OpenAI's rapid scaling, but it also raises questions about long-term independence and what happens when such a significant portion of your revenue goes to a single partner. Speaking of massive investments in AI, Meta has just announced a multi-year agreement with Nvidia that's going to reshape their data centers. They're buying millions of Nvidia's Grace and Vera CPUs, along with Blackwell and Rubin GPUs. This is actually the first large-scale deployment of Nvidia's Grace CPUs, and Nvidia is promising significant performance per watt improvements for Meta's data centers. The deal also includes plans to integrate Nvidia's next-generation Vera CPUs starting in 2027. Here's what's fascinating though. While Meta is making this huge commitment to Nvidia hardware, they're also trying to develop their own in-house chips for AI workloads. According to the Financial Times, they've been running into technical challenges and delays with that strategy. It's a classic case of hedging your bets. You invest in the proven infrastructure you need today while trying to build independence for tomorrow. And when you look at the bigger picture, the AI spending by major tech companies this year, that's Meta, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, is projected to exceed the total cost of the Apollo space program. Let that sink in for a moment. We're witnessing an investment race that's literally out of this world. Now let's talk about the global AI landscape, because India is making a serious power move. The country has announced plans to attract more than $200 billion in AI infrastructure investment by 2028. This was unveiled at the AI Impact Summit in New Delhi, which brought together executives from OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, and other major players. India's IT Minister, Ashwini Vaishnaw, outlined a comprehensive strategy including tax incentives, state-backed venture capital funds, and policy measures designed to bring more of the global AI value chain into the country. American tech giants have already pledged about $70 billion toward AI and cloud infrastructure in India, so there's serious momentum here. The plan goes beyond just data centers. India wants to capture $17 billion in deep tech and AI applications, plus they're expanding their shared GPU compute capacity from 38,000 to 58,000 units in the coming weeks. Of course, there are challenges. Reliable power and water supplies for all these data centers in a country that's already dealing with resource constraints. But the government is highlighting that over half of India's energy generation now comes from clean sources, which could be a significant advantage. If India pulls this off, we could see a major shift in where global AI computing happens. Now, let's shift gears to something that probably affected many of you directly. YouTube experienced a significant global outage that impacted users across the US and worldwide. At its peak, Down Detector recorded more than 240,000 reports in the US alone, with another 17,000 in India. It wasn't just the main site either. The outage affected YouTube.com, the mobile app, YouTube Music, YouTube Kids, and YouTube TV. Users reported everything from video playback failures to login issues and streaming interruptions. YouTube acknowledged the problem on X and later explained that the culprit was their recommendation system. Apparently, an issue with the system prevented videos from appearing across surfaces, meaning the homepage, the app, music, and kids were all affected. It's a reminder of just how much we've come to depend on these platforms and how complex the infrastructure behind them really is. YouTube says everything is back to normal now, but it's the kind of incident that makes you think about the fragility of our digital infrastructure. Finally, let's talk about a movement that's gaining traction and raises some really interesting questions about our relationship with technology. It's called Resist and Unsubscribe, and it was started by Scott Galloway, a professor at NYU's Stern School of Business. The movement is calling for a month-long economic boycott of major tech companies to protest recent immigration and customs enforcement operations. Galloway's argument is that President Trump is unfazed by traditional forms of protest, courts, or media pressure, but he believes that an economic strike targeting the companies that drive markets could actually get attention. The movement has two target lists. The first includes subscription-heavy tech companies like Amazon, Apple, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Netflix, OpenAI, and X. The second list includes companies that the movement claims are active enablers of ICE operations. They're calling for people to cancel everything from Amazon Prime to ChatGPT+, YouTube Premium to Uber One. It's a fascinating case study in digital activism and raises real questions about consumer power in the platform economy. Whether you agree with the politics or not, it's worth thinking about how much of our digital lives are tied to a handful of companies and what it would actually take to disconnect. That's it for today's Digi-all Tech news. From billion-dollar AI partnerships to global outages and grassroots movements, technology continues to shape our world in ways both predictable and surprising. We'll be watching how these stories develop and keeping you informed every step of the way. Thank you for staying informed with Digi-all Tech news. We'll be back with more updates as they develop. This is Kylie Brooks, and remember, this is where technology becomes clear and engaging.